Today, we are diving deep into a concept that gets thrown around a lot but is, I think, really misunderstood: inner peace. We tend to picture it as this soft, kind of luxurious thing, right? Something you find on a quiet beach. But what we're exploring today suggests it's something totally different. It's not about having perfect circumstances. It's a disciplined strength. It's a kind of posture. Let's get into it. So let's just start with a question that kind of flips the whole script. We're constantly sold this idea that peace is about getting away from the noise, from the stress, from all the chaos of life. But what if that's not the point at all? What if real, lasting peace isn't about escaping the world? What if, instead, it's about building the internal strength, the capacity to fully engage with the world, with all of its messiness and unpredictability, without getting knocked over? You see, this isn't about checking out. It's about being able to fully check in, to be grounded and clear no matter what's swirling around you. Okay, this slide just lays it all out, doesn't it? On one side, you have the myth we're all sold. Peace is what happens when all your problems finally disappear. I mean, that's basically a recipe for waiting your entire life, right? But on the other side, you have the truth. Something ancient wisdom has been telling us for centuries. Peace is about mastering your response. Problems? They're a given. Being thrown off by them? That's optional. And that idea, right there, is the foundation for everything we're going to talk about. So that brings us to our very first secret for building this stronger inner posture: mastering what you can actually control. Now, this isn't about giving up or being passive. It's about strategic clarity, an idea that comes straight from Stoic philosophy. I mean, this really gets to the heart of it. Just think for a second about how much energy we burn day in and day out trying to force reality to match up with our expectations. The moment you decide to withdraw that demand, you free up this incredible amount of mental and emotional energy to focus on what you can actually do. And this is such a brilliant way to see it. Look at the column on the left: your choices, your values, your effort. That's your domain. That's your playing field. Everything in that other column, what other people do, the final outcome of things, what the public thinks, that's like the weather. And trying to control the weather is, well, it's the main reason we feel so much distress. Peace really begins the moment you stop confusing the two columns. So here's a super powerful tool to actually put this into practice. That first question, why is this happening to me? It's a trap, right? It keeps you stuck in feeling resentful and powerless. But the second question, what is required of me now? That immediately shifts you into a place of agency, of responsibility, of dignity. It's such a small change in language, but it creates a massive shift in your entire mindset. All right, let's build on that and move to our second secret. This is all about choosing presence over the never-ending chase for more productivity. Because, the real crisis we're facing today isn't a lack of time. It's that our attention is just shattered into a million pieces. And man, is this a critical insight for our time. Our minds are so rarely where our bodies are. We're in this state of constant partial attention that just erodes our stability. Even when we're supposed to be relaxing, our minds are off racing somewhere else. The answer isn't another life hack. It's learning how to truly be in the moment you're actually in. Seriously, just think about it. When do you feel the most stressed or upset? It's almost always when your mind is lost in time travel. Anxiety is just a story about a future that hasn't even happened yet. Regret is a story about a past you can't change. So little of our suffering actually exists right here, in the present moment. So presence is simply the practice of coming back home to what's real. And here is a dead simple physical tool to help you do just that, to anchor you in the present. Box breathing is like a direct line into your own nervous system. By controlling your breath in this rhythmic way, you're literally activating your body's relaxation response. You're sending a powerful signal to your brain that says, hey, we're safe. It's not magic, it's just biology. And the best part is, you can do it anywhere, anytime you feel your mind starting to spin up. Okay, our third secret. This one it's a subtle one, but it is so powerful. It's about learning to embrace responsibility in a way that actually sets you free, instead of just beating yourself up. And this idea of clean responsibility is like the missing piece of the puzzle, right? So often we get stuck at two extremes. Either we're a victim and we have no power, or we're just filled with self-blame, punishing ourselves. Neither of those actually leads to any growth. Clean responsibility is that middle path. It's about saying, okay, this is the situation. What was my part in it? And what am I going to do now? It keeps your self-respect intact while still demanding that you act with integrity. So a huge part of this is just learning to spot these mental traps that literally manufacture our own suffering. Things like catastrophizing, mind reading, personalization. These aren't facts. They're just old, well-worn habits in our brains. They take a tough situation and they spin it into an absolute crisis. So your first job is just to start noticing, there it is again. And look, here's another fantastic tool for breaking out of those loops. When you're feeling all wound up or overwhelmed, just pausing and asking this simple question. It creates this tiny little gap, this moment of psychological space. It shifts you from just reacting based on whatever mood you're in to acting based on your deeper values. You're basically inviting your own wisdom to the table. Okay, secret number 4. And this one really goes against a lot of what we're taught in our culture. We're told that being hard on ourselves is what drives success. But all the research and so much ancient wisdom says the exact opposite. True strength is actually built on a foundation of compassion. Yeah, just let that one sink in. You cannot bully yourself into peace. Having a hostile inner voice is fundamentally at odds with having inner peace. It just is. No amount of grit or discipline can make up for that internal warfare. That inner critic might feel like it's keeping you on your toes, but really it's just fear in disguise, and it is slowly chipping away at your resilience. And it's not just some nice idea, The actual neuroscience backs this up completely. Self-criticism literally floods your system with stress hormones. It puts you in a threat state. Self-compassion, on the other hand, is proven to make you more resilient after you fail. It lets you learn from your mistakes and keep going without that crushing weight of shame. So how do we actually do this? Well, here are 2 really practical ways. First, just start paying attention to your inner tone. Would you ever talk to a good friend or a child the way you sometimes talk to yourself? Probably not. So change the words. And second, accept that being imperfect is just part of being human. It's not a personal failure. This isn't about letting yourself off the hook. It's about creating the emotional safety you need to actually look at yourself honestly and grow. All right, this brings us to our final secret. And honestly, this is the one that holds everything else up. Inner peace isn't just a mental game. It is a physical state. Your body, your physiology is the absolute foundation. And this right here, it is a non-negotiable truth. You cannot think your way out of biological debt. It's impossible. A body that is exhausted and dysregulated simply cannot host a mind that is calm and wise. We spend so much time trying to solve physical problems with mental tricks, and it just doesn't work. So when you look at this list, please don't see these as just, wellness trends. These are the basic, non-negotiable requirements for a mind that works properly. Sleep isn't a luxury, it's the master regulator of everything. Movement isn't about punishment, it's how your body literally discharges stored up stress. And having routines isn't boring, it's a signal of safety to your nervous system. Neglecting these is like trying to build a beautiful house on a foundation of quicksand. And this, wow, what a perfect metaphor to wrap all this up. The storms of life, the conflicts, the losses, the uncertainty, they're inevitable. They're like the weather on the ocean. You can't control them. But you are not the ocean. You're not just a victim of the waves. You are the captain of the ship. So peace isn't about waiting for calm seas. It's the skill of learning how to navigate whatever sea you find yourself. Because at the end of the day, we don't rise to the occasion when a crisis hits. We fall back to the level of our training, to what we've practiced. And inner peace is built in the small, quiet moments of our ordinary days. It's built through the tiny disciplines we choose, over and over. So the real question isn't what you're going to do when the next big storm comes. The question is, what will you practice, starting right now, today?